What's for lunch? TBBLC.
Stay in your seat.
What's for lunch today? Sausage. Brown bag, brown bag.
The Brown Bag Lunch Crew.
Welcome back, TBBLC. Don't know what season it is, don't know what episode it is, but it's good to be back in the new year, January of 2024. It's been a while. We've had some technical difficulties to start up here. We're now running 15 minutes behind when we wanted to get off the ground, but nevertheless, we'll jump right into it after we hear from our co-host Drew Luster in Essex, Massachusetts, on how he's doing.
Appreciate the intro. Doing great. Glad to be here. To your point, it hasn't been the easiest time getting everything up and running here in the new year, but we're here. We've made it, and nothing's going to stop us. So let's see if we can get through this in second time's a charm.
Hey, nothing's going to stop us other than a power outage, Zoom crashing, or
Right.
just the inability to record. That's the only thing that can happen. But
Only thing.
nevertheless, let's start off with some love of the week to start off the new year. We'll kick it over to you since you'll have your list up and ready to go.
I do. This is an easy one. This is a layup for me. It is mid-January New England. There's nothing like a nice light snowfall to just but just enhance the space around you visually. It's a great time of year to be in New England when you get a light snowfall. On the flip side, about 24 to 36 hours after the snowfall, not so much when it becomes slush and gets brown and gross. But that initial handful of hours, once you get that light snowfall, is straight out of a movie. It's an angelic feeling, and there's nothing like it to kick off the winter season. So that is my love of the week, a nice light snowfall in mid-January.
Yeah, just to go off that, I miss the snow somewhat, but sitting in 80 degrees all year round isn't all that bad. But you truly miss it when you go on the ski trips and you're like, okay, this is what the snow's here for, is these West Coast ski trips. But I don't know if I miss it so much back in the Northeast. We'll have to see in 2025 when I get back.
Right. And I'm sure at some point I would hope that there is some ski talk. We did have a trip, so we'll see where the evening takes us, but that would be there's certainly some stories that we could rehash. So we'll see when we get to that point.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Hoping to get out there once this year. Don't know if it's going to happen. Whatever. My love of the week, I guess I saw this the other day at the grocery store, and it was a throwback to pre-Thanksgiving at your place. The cannoli dip that has the little cookie like chips that you scoop into the frosting.
Yeah.
Well, I saw it at the grocery store. I had a little panic because they only had like the cookie chips in a container, and I'm looking all around the place. I'm like, where did they put the frosting?
Right.
There was no frosting to be had for like the smaller container, but then they had like a big party size for like $18 with the frosting like built into it and surrounding, cannoli chips. And I had to get that. I mucked on it last night, post dinner. I had a little post breakfast this morning, and there seems to be plenty left. So I'm quite excited about it. I eat myself into a coma at your house that night, and it's all capped off usually by the cannoli dip.
It is. That's a staple. Well, it doesn't shock me. It still is very funny to hear you get the family-sized version of that, just
For myself.
based on what you were. Yeah, it's not like you're bringing this to a party. And even if you were, you'd probably keep it for yourself. I do have a question though, not to kind of put you on blast. You tried to kind of slide in there the fact that you had some after breakfast.
I did.
I'm curious what time, like, are we talking 10:30 a.m.? Are we talking 9 a.m.?
Yeah, we're talking 10:30. I mean, I woke up
Okay.
around 8:30, moseyed myself over to the recliner or the couch, and I had a bowl of cereal, had some Cheerios,
Okay.
might even have dabbled in a little Powerade for a little wake up. Didn't have any coffee this morning. Coffee machine's inbound.
Big coffee guy, by the way. We'll get there.
Huge coffee guy, 2 weeks in now. But then I was just, had a little hunkering for a snack and took the cannoli dip out of the fridge. Good thing the cannoli dip was in jeopardy during this power outage. I mean, if the power goes out more than 4 hours, that fridge ain't up to snuff on temp. I might have had to dump it.
Or just have that for your lunch
Yeah, that's also
would
true.
be the alternative. It's just crush it before it goes bad.
Yes, yeah.
And then be wired all afternoon and evening, just
Uh,
crushing that frosting.
I'll give the secondary for the love of the week, and this is only a recently acquired taste, but it's the espresso or the cafe americano, as they call it at Starbucks. I just recently bought the Lore espresso machine. I think it makes coffee too, but I'll just be on
No
the
free ads
espresso.
though, right? No free ads.
No free ads. This is clearly a reverse sponsorship. If they'd like to
Yeah,
send me stuff, that I'm totally
right.
okay with that. But yeah, pretty excited. I was appalled by the cost of a Starbucks coffee. And I will say this, on base, the Starbucks coffee that I was getting, the small Americano, I actually got a double small Americano, so double espresso. And it cost me, I think, $2.34. And with that price, I said, I don't need a coffee machine. I'll do this every day of the week,
Right.
Under
That's
$3
sustainable.
for a
Yeah.
coffee, not too bad.
No.
They also, I don't think they tip on base because there's no jug. We potentially, can't have our phones in certain locations, and unless you have cash, like I don't even know what you do because there's no little tip jar. So it's
Right.
really cheap. But then I go to Starbucks off base over by my house, so out here,
Oh boy.
and I think it was 414, and then obviously you got a tip because they're asking for the tip. So now you're
Right.
looking at 514, and I'm like, I can't afford to do this, 5 days a week, let alone 7.
No, it's just that's not sustainable. You're paying twice as much. That's crazy to me. That's
Yeah,
where it gets crazy.
it does. So I said, you know what, I'm going to invest, and I invested. Went on Amazon, no free ads, but good prices on there for espresso machines. Got
Hmm.
myself one, ordered the Nespresso pods there, and
Yep.
we'll be up and running on January 19th, the morning of.
Morning of. That's very exciting. Now, we may have talked about this casually offline. So you're just getting into coffee. I know you've
Yes.
always liked the coffee ice cream and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Are you like an espresso teeny guy? I feel like you've started to kind of dabble in those.
Oh,
You've
yes.
you've gotten bitten by those a few times, I believe, right?
I have dabbled in the espresso martini many occasions. I would say it's a 3-year love affair for certain locations that have it, and of course put
Yeah.
the 3 beans in it.
You're a three bean guy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Drift Cafe. Last time I was home, we went there. I think we got a free first round. The guy was talking us all into it because
Yeah.
Jason apparently knows like everybody in there.
Well, who doesn't he
And
know?
next thing you know, I'm the one outperforming everybody on the espresso martinis. They're over there sipping it, and I'm like, these things are
Down the
delicious.
hatch.
Yeah.
They are.
So all that said, I think the one thing I can drink more of potentially than Jason in the entire world is espresso martinis.
Which is you definitely have the bragging rights there. Although I will say, to me, there's a fine line between like
Too
the
many.
second and third one for me
Yeah.
is where the scale starts to tip a little bit to okay, Houston, we may have a problem.
Yeah. I think we had 3 that day, and 3 was not a bad time.
No, if I have three, I'm definitely I'm feeling it. I think any more than three, and I'm getting myself into some trouble. I'm on
Yeah.
demon time, as they say.
Yes, yeah, of course. I think when Cal came out here, I dabbled in an espresso martini at this like weird fancy restaurant he brought us to. That he was here, prior to when I got here, and then all his
Yeah,
buddies came out. He's like, "We got to go to this place. We go to the place." The smallest food menu you've ever seen. You know me, I'm not a seafood guy or like the fancy
no,
meals. Just give me like a burger or something on their
right.
chicken. And I can't even remember what I got, but it was something crazy simple, like chicken skewers or something, and then had about 3 to 4 espresso martinis, I think. And
Meal of
hey, I'll
champions.
give them credit. The espresso martinis were gas.
Hey, Sometimes that's all you need is a couple chicken skewers and 3 or 4 teenies to get the night going.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we've talked a little too much on the positive side, so let's get into the negative. What do you got for a hate of the week?
My hate of the week is something that I shared previously, but I do want to bring it up to the public because I think it is relatable. It is when you have a snapback hat and you're in between snaps.
Oh,
So like one snap to the left might be slightly too tight where it's just a little bit uncomfortable on the dome. And then one snap to the right and you feel like you're on the Majors B Orioles as a toddler and you're just swimming in the hat and you take a step and the hat's swinging to the side of your head. Like it's frustrating because there's some really good hats that I want to add into the repertoire that I just can't seem to find a groove on because of I'm in between snaps. Um, Not great. Don't love it. That's why I might start in 2024 leaning more on kind of the flex fit fitteds or the strapbacks more so. But
okay.
yeah, that's my hate of the week. I don't love when that happens.
I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, the fitted especially, like the snapbacks are one thing because I feel like I got so much range in there that I'll be okay. But the
Right.
fitted hat that like for some reason my mom for like 5 years it felt like got me just like medium hats that were fitted and
Yeah.
none of them fit my head. Like would give me
Just
a
squeezing the
headache if
dome.
I wore those things more than 10 minutes.
Right. And
And
then you get the line on your head and you just
yeah,
look like Peyton
oh,
Manning in the
you look like a
AFC
moron.
Championship. It's brutal.
So
Yeah.
those hats, they got tossed to the back of the closet, and then occasionally I'll bring them
Yeah.
home and sneak them in the rotation back there, and Dave can wear them.
Perfect.
Yeah. Any backups? Anything else on your mind?
No, I will say I do have two frauds of the week in
Okay.
terms of foreshadowing. So that's where a lot of my content is based.
Yeah,
But I'll
we'll
hand it
save
off to
that.
you for hate of the week.
We'll absolutely save that. All right. My hate of the week, with the whole golf world still being in, kind of the split debate, I guess you will, with LIV and the PGA Tour. I think the biggest like messaging that LIV has had was, we want to grow the game. And then the PGA Tour comes back with, they're not truly growing the game, yada, yada, yada. And I think both parties are at fault here because the price of golf clubs has reached an outrageous level to where nobody's growing the game anymore, no matter what tour you're going to play for, no matter how much money you're making. These guys are making
Right.
$500 million contracts. Meanwhile, they're trying to charge, the 12-year-old kid who's trying to pick up golf $850 for a brand new driver if you're looking at the 2023, 2024 model. It's absolutely
Yeah.
ludicrous. I think back to, I want to say like 2012-ish when I was really getting into golf. Lefty clubs were like a little harder to come by. And so you wouldn't get any price like manipulation with that. But you'd go to the stores, Dick's or Golfer's Warehouse, wherever you're looking, and like there's
Hmm.
only two or three sets really that you could get, which always sucked. And then in the years like 4 or 5 years after, it was like lefty clubs were everywhere. No matter what, you could go order online and you can get a custom fit, which was great. But club prices back then were also like top of the line drivers 250, 300 max maybe. And that was expensive. That was like crazy to think about that one club in my set I am going to spend $300 for. Now, if you're trying to get, the good players moving up to college probably going to get stiff shafts or extra stiff shafts depending on how fast they're swinging it. So that's customized. If you want to get good irons, that's going to cost you like I would guess 1.2 to $2,000 right now if you're looking at like any of the Titleist AP2s or top of the line Callaway TaylorMades. I'm a Mizuno guy. I like the Mizuno irons, and the only reason I got them back my senior year of college was they were like the cheapest deal we could get through the team and also still a really good club. So
Yep.
my hate of the week, I went on and I think CallawayPreowned.com. There was some good deals on there because it's like 3 woods and drivers that somebody's hit like 10 times and returned or something. So that's probably where I'll get my clubs in terms of woods. But oh my God, looking at the price of a brand new driver or a putter, I went down to Roger Dunn in Hawaii. What a ripoff of a store that has been so far. And there's, you know, standard blade putters sitting there for $350. Who's buying that? And so
Yeah,
my call to the golfers around the United States of America, in Europe, wherever you're playing, screw these retailers and these guys saying, you know, oh, we can't roll the ball back. That's going to cost too much money. They've been making billions for years. I say for a year, if we can, we don't buy any new clubs and we drive the prices down. So that's my freaking hate of the week, is these goddamn club brands charging way too much. Don't even get me started on the price of the ball. A Pro V1 freaking 12 pack costing $60+.
ridiculous.
Absolutely insane. I got nothing else. That's my rant of the week too. God, I hate the golf brands right now.
So I guess my initial reaction is I agree. And the second thing I would say is I've almost unintentionally been following this sort of boycott that you're introducing. I'm not, I wouldn't consider myself a good golfer. I would say I'm average, maybe a hair below average at this point. I like the game. I'm trying to get better and improve so I can enjoy it more and play, more consistent, blah, 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 all that. I bought a new putter. I think it's just your average Cleveland blade early
Yep.
last summer for, I think it ended up being like between 140 and 150.
Yeah.
And that was without a doubt like the lowest that I could find for like a real legitimate useful putter,
Normal
which
putter.
is crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what the sick part about it is? Don't even like it.
Oh, yeah, that's the
So
worst.
I don't, it just doesn't have enough weight for me. Like I don't know.
Yep.
I think I need a mallet or I need something a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
So to make a long story short, instead of get it falling into that trap and spending more money, I just bought a roll of lead tape and loaded that puppy up on the
Hell
back
yeah.
and the bottom. And I'm telling you what, Wyatt and Josh and all them will give me shit, but I swear it makes a difference.
Hey,
Just a little bit extra weight on the back to control it.
that's a veteran play from you. Tour guys do that. If they don't like the weight of the putter, but they like the model and the make, they'll just toss some lead tape on it until it feels good in their hands.
It made more of a difference than I thought it would, is the way I would put it. So
That's big time from
that's
you.
one for the good. That's one for the home team right there.
I mean, if you're talking golf guy moves, that's a top 5 veteran golf guy move right there, and saves a ton of money. To
Yep.
go along that vein, when I was in the shop for a new putter down at Roger Dunn, when I was looking at these prices, I brought my old putter, TaylorMade Spider, in, and I was like, maybe I'll trade it in. I despise it right now. I can't get any worse putting. So I'll see what they offer me, and then I'll bring the new putter up. And if it's like reasonable and they give me, $80 to $100, I'll take it, and I'll bite the bullet on paying $250, $300 for a putter. So I find the putter I like, go up there. I think it was 300-ish, maybe 350. And I'm like, this is kind of a force. I go up there. My Spider is in good shape. The grip's not in good shape, but that should not affect Roger Dunn buying at all, because they're going to slap a new grip on there anyways.
Yeah, they're just going to regrip it when they repost it.
The same model putter, and I did my research in terms of, hey, how much could this cost on the market? And I still haven't sold it yet. I should on Facebook Marketplace. But it's like, 150 is probably pretty average. You might get like in the 100 to 150 if it's a little used. But like brand new, the same putter's going for $250. They offered me, I think it was like $21. And I laughed. I laughed straight in the guy's face. And he's like,
I thought you were going to say like,
do you want to buy
50 or
that one?
60.
And I was like, are
No.
you joking? You just offered $21 and you're going to turn around and sell that for $200+. Absolutely not. Do I want to buy this scam of a putter that you have put out?
That $21. So that's like the GameStop stuff that they'll do.
Oh,
where you know how games like back in the day you try to sell like your PS3 to get a PS4 and they'd literally be like, yeah, we'll give you this for $9.
Yep. It's
insane.
just
I thought you would have said 50 to 60. 21 it being a weird like random number like that is even funnier too.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's like Deal or No Deal. Oh, our guys have looked at it. This is what we're willing to give you.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I'm not that
gross.
desperate. I just, and the great part is though, I went back to my old putter that I tested out in like freshman or sophomore year of college, and I hated at the time. I absolutely love it. I'm on the like normal. It's a Cleveland bronze faced blade putter, and I love it.
Yeah. You just
So
fell back into
yeah,
a good thing.
saved
So
a
it all
ton of
worked out.
money. Screw Roger Dunn, screw these golf retailers that are just porking
That's
people.
gross.
Poor kids who want to go play the game. You want to make golf actually grow and,
Right.
feasible for the next people playing. Drive the prices of the club down. Nobody buy anything for the next 2 years. Screw it. Let's drive it way down.
All right. I'm in.
All
I'm
right.
in.
I think that captures the hate of the week.
Take a breath. Take a breath.
Um, let's hop in. I know you want to talk a little playoff football. I caught a little bit of
Yeah.
it this weekend. I was on shift for some of it, but I
Yep.
did catch all of yesterday's games, and I did check in on the scores.
All right. So I guess what my question would, so two things. Number one, any initial reactions from you? I think my initial one would be, oh my gosh, the NFC East, like Cowboys and Eagles. And we're not even at fraud of the week yet, but they're
Yeah,
both big time frauds. I can't believe they both let what happened to them happen in that fashion to
yeah.
inferior opponents.
And I think I don't I don't want to let the Eagles off the hook here, but they played a legitimately tough schedule, and they were not the same with some injuries down the line, and definitely went on like that cold streak. But
Right.
when they were going through the slate of like who'd they have right in a row, it was like San Fran, Cowboys, couple other good teams,
Yep.
and I think they went like 3 of 4. I was like, okay, this team is, that's as legit as it gets in terms of scheduling. I cannot say the same for Dallas. I don't think they beat a 500 team for a while, right? That was the whole. Was that them who didn't beat a 500 team, or am I thinking of somebody else?
I think you might be thinking of Miami actually, but I think
Okay.
Dallas was in the same boat where they did have a softer schedule.
They blow out, the bad teams at home, and then when they go on the road, they're a totally different team. Uh, and the fact that that team is so supremely talented, and it just goes to show you when you have Mike McCarthy as your coach, you're gonna underperform. I said it 10 years ago, probably to this
Yeah,
date. He should be
probably.
fired. And every single year he has been an NFL coach since. And guess what? He hasn't done jack shit.
Is
So, initial reactions. Am I surprised the Eagles lost? Not with their current form, and it was an away game down in Tampa. I just think
yeah.
going away is so much different in the playoffs than it is in the regular season. I did we have many away teams win this week other than Green
Um,
Bay?
Not that I can remember. I'm trying
I
to think.
think
So
most Houston was
Houston
home.
won at home, Kansas
Yeah.
City won at home,
Yep.
Cowboys lost at home, Lions won at home, Bills won at home.
Tampa won at home,
Yeah, every home team won except for one.
except for Dallas. So that just shows you the fraud right there for me. It's not so much the Eagles because I somewhat expected it rolling into the playoffs. It's the fact
Right.
that Dallas was so unprepared and got blown out in Jerry World.
Yep. I'm gonna switch gears and hopefully catch you off guard for just initial reaction
Okay.
if I can.
Yep.
Um, so we can do spread or money line,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna give you four games and I just want gut reaction off the top of your head.
Okay, because you know my policy on picks in the playoffs. I just want to let the folks out there
Let
know
the world know.
that the TBBLC crew beat Vegas all year this year, and I don't want to sully our records one bit. There's a reason we don't pick the playoffs is because there's just not enough data for these matchups sometimes,
You're
and
not wrong.
and the home field versus away is weighed a little differently. But just to reiterate, Drew Luster, our crown champion, this year, and myself, 2 years in a row now, either 500 or north of 500. So we put that into a third year next year, and I think we might have a slot on, Sunday morning countdown or something.
That would be all time if we can do it 3 years in a row. We would officially be beating Vegas at that level, I think would be impressive. So
Hey, Kenzie,
I'm gonna jump right in.
what about we got
We
to
don't need to
mention it,
mention
right?
that, I don't think.
We don't? Okay, we won't mention
I
it. We
don't
won't
know. I
mention
don't know if we want to.
it.
I
He'll
don't
be
know if
back
we want
next
to
year,
air,
folks.
let's just call 2024, 2025 for him the redemption tour.
Yeah,
And we'll leave
yes.
it at that.
Okay.
We'll put a bow on that.
Well, so hit me with your
So there's
spreads here.
4 games. This is as of this evening, the spread. Houston traveling to Baltimore. I'm taking Houston +9. That's the DraftKings spread right now. Baltimore to cover 9 points. I'm taking Houston. Do I think they'll win? I don't, but I think
No,
it's going to be within 9 points.
that's tough.
I think their defense is playing. Their defense showed me something last week again. I know the Browns aren't
Yeah.
very explosive,
I'm also
but I
going to
love
take
what Stroud's
Houston
doing.
because I think they're high powered enough on offense to, even if they're down
To keep
14 at
up.
the end of the game, they sneak in a late second touchdown. That doesn't mean anything
Right,
type of deal.
right.
And historically, we cannot trust Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs. So it's more of a prove it game to me, which I think they are legit this year. Like there's been some games this year that I'm like, this is a different team for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
San Fran being, the standard bearer of that. But when it comes to playoffs, a team's going to do one of two things. They're going to take away the run, or they're going to try to, blitz you to death and hopefully get pressure on to save their secondary. I think you have to take away the run and make Lamar throw all game long. Like that's what they have done
of
historically
course.
for the past
Right.
3 or 4 years. So expect to see some of that, but I don't think Houston wins this game.
I'm on the same page with you. The next game is interesting, almost a carbon copy in terms of an underdog traveling to a favorite who's
Tampa?
had 2 weeks off. Green Bay traveling to San Fran.
Oh,
The spread there is 9.5, but
yep.
instead of taking the dog, I'm actually going to take San Fran at home to cover 9.5. I think they win by 10. I think the Cinderella story for Jordan Love and the Packers will end. I think at some
Yeah.
point he's due to have a couple turnovers. I don't know if the defense can play that well against two elite offenses 2 weeks in a row. And I also
Yep.
trust San Fran more than I trust Baltimore with 2 weeks to prepare, fully healthy,
Man,
with a
that's
Super
a
Bowl on the line.
that's still a big spread,
It is.
In a
9.5
playoff
is a lot
game,
of
that's
points.
tough. I'm gonna go San Fran as well, though.
All right.
Just if they play well, they're gonna beat them by, I don't know, 9.5 is so on the money. Like I can see it being a 10-point game, but I
I
don't see it
initially,
being
when
a
you just said,
14-point game.
I was going to say, when you just said beat them by, I was going to say between 14 and 17 would be that's kind of the way that I see
Okay.
it going.
I don't know if it's that much of a blowout.
Maybe not.
Wow, that's tough. I'm going to take San Fran. I think their
Okay.
defense is going to stand up better against that offense than vice versa. So I don't
Makes sense.
love that one. I'd stay away from that one if I were picking any of the games. Disclaimer.
Okay. I'm very curious where you stand on this next one. This is Detroit -6
Yeah.
at home
Yep.
against Tampa Bay. So Tampa gets the home upset last
Yep.
night against Philly, obviously.
I'm taking Tampa in this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm taking Detroit. I
I
but I'll let you go.
Do they win by a field goal? Maybe. I think it's going to be tight all game. They were proven frauds too many times this season for me to take them as a
Yep.
6-point favorite in a playoff game. Field goal game to me. I think Tampa has a chance to win it too.
Wow. Okay. All right. I think Detroit showed me something against LA. I hope as the weeks progress, they get that playoff win under their belt. They get the crowd behind them 2 weeks in a row. I don't know. Something about Detroit. I want to ride them, and I'm going to take them to cover the 6.
We'll see. I like what Tampa's D looked like last week. It looked like getting back to their, Super Bowl defense that they had a couple
I would
years ago.
agree. They did look very good against the Eagles, but again, to your point earlier, the Eagles' offense was in shambles without AJ Brown. So,
Yeah.
well, that's kind of a wait and see. I'm very curious on what way that one goes.
What's the over under on that? I'm just curious on that because I
Ooh,
think that's a high scoring one, to be honest. I
let
would
me
be
take a quick peek.
tempted to take the over.
Now, as while DraftKings loads, I'm curious what you like. Throw out a number there for me. What do you think it could be at?
52.5.
Wow.
Is that too much? Is that way too
I
much?
initially thought maybe too much. Let's see.
48 and a
48 and a half
half.
right now. Yep.
48 and a half. So you're looking at 24
I
being
just don't
the
see, I don't know.
that's a
Like,
lot of points in the playoffs, I know. I
yeah.
don't think either defense is great.
Yeah, they're not.
I'm not gonna
That's an
pick that.
interesting one. I'm
I'm
curious
not gonna pick it. I just
the line could
interested to
move
see.
too. It's Tuesday. It's a long way to go. So
Yeah. You get that
that's an
down in
interesting
the
one.
what, 45 and a half area, I'm taking the over.
And what I would consider game of the week, potentially game of the year, is what I think this one has on it. Patrick Mahomes' first road
Yeah.
game ever, period, outside of a Super Bowl. Chiefs traveling to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Buffalo being given 3 points at home. They
That's
looked
crazy,
again.
right?
I think that's a lot of points. They've looked good at times. They looked bad at times.
They didn't
They
even look
looked.
that great, to be honest, against Pittsburgh.
I was just gonna say I thought they looked decent against Pittsburgh, but it was also Pittsburgh with no T.J. Watt and Mason Rudolph at the helm.
Hey, we knew how that game was gonna go. Even though the ending, almost didn't cover
Right.
the spread, we knew.
I I don't trust Buffalo, but I also don't really know if I can trust Kansas City fully this year. I'm
Yeah.
just taking the home team and I'm leaning into Buffalo and Josh Allen is really what I can do because they've both shown a little bit of everything this year, in my opinion.
Wow. I mean, knee jerk on who's gonna win the game. I think after watching last week, I'd say KC. But how can you not take a home dog in the playoffs getting three?
No. Sorry, Buffalo's favored by 3.
Oh, favored by 3. Sorry.
Yes,
I
it's
thought you were
Buff.
saying they were
Sorry,
+3.
no, it's Buffalo -3 at home.
I'll take oh man.
So
I'm
here's my
gonna take
hypothetical.
KC. I
Okay.
was so unimpressed with that Buffalo defense, to be honest.
Yep.
And Casey's D has been solid all year. And if they figured out somewhat what their offense was doing last year or last game, then they're gonna be tough to beat. We'll see what weather looks like. If it's,
Yeah,
cold and
that's another huge
snowy,
factor. Who the hell knows what it's
it
going to be?
doesn't really matter, right? Because KC plays in the same thing, but I just say it drives up the Buffalo enthusiasm a little more.
For sure. I'm curious what that spread looks like if it's in Kansas City. Like 3 is a lot for it to be a sort of like you just favor the home team by a point and a half. It's weird to me that I mean maybe it's just recency bias. Buffalo's like 6-1 in their last 7 or I don't it's weird. I don't know. But either way, with all that confusion said, I'm naturally going to lean the Bills, I think. So,
Yeah, the head to head. I mean, they got it as of recently. They beat them the
yep.
last game they played, and that was in KC, I believe, right? I believe that was
Ye-
the
Yeah.
turnaround game where they went on their run, kind of. And
Yeah, and then
KC was in a bit of a struggle.
Kadarius Tony lined up off sides on the game winning play, and
Yeah,
they had to call it back. That's what it was.
yeah. So,
Clown show.
uh, well, that is tough game. I'll take KC. I'll take the points.
All right. It's an interesting slate for sure. A lot of like random quarterbacks. I for sure did not expect, excuse me, to see Jordan Love and CJ Stroud in the divisional round this weekend, but
Yeah,
love to see the young guys thrive. So we'll see what happens.
absolutely. All right, that's it, right? That was 4.
Yep, that's it.
Excellent. I think next up, we usually do your dad joke after some of the main topics.
I
This
do
might
have
be
one.
a little early, but let's get it in there. Let's sneak it in there. I'll always give the guess.
All right. That sounds good. We're going to get back to our roots. We're going to rip the dad joke of the week. This is a new one. And I know so here's the problem. You haven't had a ton of practice with these lately.
I
I know
know.
you struggled. You started cold, then you kind of got hot, and then we took a little hiatus from the pod with the time change. So I'm very curious where this goes. So
Okay.
without further ado, why can't you hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom? Think about the word pterodactyl, would be my hint.
I got nothing. I'm not even nothing even
Nothing at
pops into
all,
my head. Pterodactyl. No.
because the P is silent.
There's a P in there?
Yes. It's actually pterodactyl. It's a P pterodactyl. Yeah, is how
I
you
didn't
spell
know
it.
that's how you spelled it.
PTER.
So that's quite
Okay, well that's unfair of me then. I kind of that might be a bush league move by me to
if you
kind of
said how do you spell pterodactyl, the first letter that's coming out of my mouth is T.
yeah, that's tough.
In
That's
my
just
20
tough.
in my 28 years of living, I've never seen
No.
pterodactyl spelled that way. Nor
So
have
you've
I ever
seen it.
seen pterodactyl spelled.
Well, so that's where I was going to go is you kind of just insinuated that you had seen it
No.
maybe spelt in a different way. And I'm like, I don't know. But all right, next week I'll try to give you a layup. I'll try to give you a more of a softball. I came out a little hot on you this week. So I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah. No, that's all right. I had a good topic in my head while we were going for the NFL games, and I can't remember it. But that's okay. We're gonna move on to fraud of the week,
All
and
right.
I know you've been waiting for this one all week, so I'll hand it over to you.
As I clear my throat on mute, I have two good ones. I'm gonna get my simple one out first. It's the Red Sox. They continue to operate like a small market team with very shallow pockets. They have been last in the division, I believe, 3 of the last 4 or 5 years. And it just came out yesterday or the day before that we should continue to expect mediocrity as they lean into prospects and player development and all of that instead of trying to win now, throw cash at guys, and contend. And if they said that 3 or 4 years ago or said that last offseason, I would get it and I would be more okay with it. But it's the consistent lying and deceiving of the
Yeah.
fans and
Yep.
saying, "Oh, we're going to contend. We're doing everything we can to put the best product out in the field," and then act like you're the Oakland A's or the Tampa Bay Rays of the early 2000s. That's what
Yeah.
gets me. So that's where the fraudulent comes into play. Is this
And
is
if
now going to be the fifth or
yeah,
sixth year of mediocrity where you're just trying to sugarcoat things and make money and continue to try to raise ticket prices and make me go buy a Sam Summer for $12 and a hot dog for 14 and
yeah.
watch a 14-0 game where the Astros beat our brains in. But what do you say? What do you have to say on that?
I think, yeah, if you're gonna say we're gonna be, this small market team now that cares about money, you gotta lean into it and go full Oakland A's or like Royals or something, but you just can't be the Boston Red Sox of this day and age and do that. There's too much money floating around and you're in.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. It's just frustrating. I don't watch baseball like at all anymore unless it's the
Yeah.
playoffs. It just doesn't interest me whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um, but I get the people being upset of the owners raking in, billions probably
Right.
and not paying the players type of deal or paying for a competitive team. To that
Exactly.
vein, though, I would say to you, slight fraudulence on your part because that's exactly what the past 2 years of the Patriots has been, right?
I don't think so. I haven't really expected contention as much, I don't think.
That's an issue.
Um, so here's my thing with
They
that.
never, Drew,
Like,
they never went out and got a big guy. They got the money. What
but I
they
don't
did,
think
they
but I don't think
invested it
Bill ever
in
said,
a stupid new tower at Gillette Stadium that they called the Lantern of the Light or
yeah,
something,
I don't know.
and a big old storyboard video screen instead of saying, "Hey, let's just continue to win Super Bowls and let's let's boycott them until they draft a decent QB," huh?
I think that's so here's the only reason I think that's a slight reach is because I don't think you're really seeing Kraft and Belichick consistently come out and say like we're going to sign whatever it takes. Like I never really thought that they would sign DeAndre Hopkins last year. That's never really
Yeah,
been their identity.
I get
But
that,
I kind of
but
see where I see where the overlap is, though. I
you
do.
understand, yeah, like they're not saying it out loud and in the public, they're just doing it. Like the actions are saying, hey, the last, big sign we got for a wide receiver that they claim is Devontae Parker, who was past his prime and injury riddled now. Has he played
Yep.
in 3 years? Has he played more than 5 games in a season during the past 3 years he's been here? I don't know. Probably not.
No, I would also put Juju in that category, not to get too carried
Yeah,
away.
like middle of the road guys, you're getting like these cut rate deals on them for a reason. It's not going out
Yep.
and getting the AJ Browns, the DeAndre Hopkins, and somebody to make a difference on the outside. And it showed. It showed. It probably screwed
100%.
Mac for his career, I would say, that
I
it
would
was
agree.
levied upon him like, hey, you can get it done with these guys. I don't think anybody in the league probably could have got it done with those guys. I mean, even at
No.
the end of Brady's career with the Pats, he was struggling. Like they were making the playoffs still, but they were struggling to move the ball down the field.
Right.
So
Exactly.
my fraud of the week.
Before we go any further,
Oh,
okay, go
no,
ahead.
no,
Yeah,
no, no, no. You go, you go. I got
so
to
you
think about it.
go.
I got to think about it.
All right. My second fraud of the week is my bigger one, and I think you're gonna have something to say on this. So, did you hear about the Alaskan Airlines flight where the door just
Yeah.
flew off in midair at 16,000 feet?
Yeah. Are you,
That,
is your, is your fraud going to be them offering passengers $1,500?
how did you know that?
Because I
How
I
did you know
read it,
that?
I think on Twitter or something. Uh, what an
So,
absolute
so let me,
low ball.
dude, complete low. See, if I was on that flight, we'll get there. So let me set the scene for
Yeah.
the listeners. So last week, one of the emergency exit doors on this plane just literally flew off of the aircraft at 16,000 feet. Like we're talking a actual door-sized hole in the aircraft while it was in air.
Yep.
And luckily slash coincidentally, no one was sitting in that like chair that would have been directly beside the door because obviously that would have been horrific if
Yep.
there was. But to your point, what they ended up doing was basically just saying, "Hey, we'll give everybody a refund," and then everybody lost their mind, and then they said, "Okay, we're just going to give everybody $1,500." Now, let me remind you, I did my research. This company is worth $4.5 billion, and they're giving everyone $1,500 after, and not to be dramatic, but people absolutely could have been injured or died with this happening. Like
Yeah.
this is something where people will probably be scarred for
Probably
a while.
scarred for life if you're like a kid on a plane.
Right, maybe for life for some, solo elderly person or a young
Yeah.
person flying. Like that's a pretty horrible experience to have to go through. And they're just like, yeah, here's $1,500. In the grand scheme of things, when you understand what they're worth, I think there's definitely some fraudulence there and some kind of chiseling happening on
Oh,
their side.
true. They offered that almost immediately as that plane landed. They wanted people to be signing NDAs and everything. And
Oh,
I
of
hope the
course.
entire plane said, actually, we're going to serve you with a class action lawsuit for millions of dollars.
So before I pass it off to you, as our sort of resident stonks guy,
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this Reddit post that this guy put up. He said, hypothetically speaking, if he was on that plane connected to free Wi-Fi and he was selling shares of Alaska Airlines while the door flew off, is
Yeah.
that insider trading? Is that illegal?
No, because he's in a public space.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
There was
So
some debate on Reddit around if that would be considered insider trading or not.
no, because it's my thought legally would be that
Okay.
it is public knowledge at that point because it's not like insiders in a company knowing something that like a
That the
merger's
public
about to go
isn't
through that's completely private and not in the public sphere. Whereas that is, the 200 people who are on board, and then anybody at the airport when it lands, seeing that a door is ripped off, uh,
missing, right?
can absolutely buy and sell stocks as they please.
Kind of a power move, don't you think?
Oh, it would
Like, I,
genius if you're tossing in the what do they call those? The put options, right?
oh yeah,
I
like
think
as
it would
soon
be
as
a
you get
put
over
and
your
not a
fear of
call.
potentially being sucked into the out of the aircraft, being like, okay, I need to connect. My next priority is connecting to
My
Wi-Fi
next priority is below 10,000 feet. Get on internet service.
and shedding some stock right now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, too good. Yep. Oh, I did. I saw that. I was tracking that all last week with the news. So the fifteen hundred
crazy.
dollars was laughable. I chuckled to myself when I saw that.
That's like the
Uh,
$21 credit to your putter almost.
yeah, yeah, that is just a complete low ball for
Right.
a good quality service.
There you go.
All right. My hate of the week. Or not hate of the week, sorry, fraud of the week.
Fraud of the week. I know we're still rusty.
I gotta think of one. So this is gonna be an edit here.
Okay.
What should I go with? Oh, I got it.
All right.
So my fraud of the week, Hawaii Electric on Oahu, particularly. This was the second power outage that we had in the past 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, it was out for about 8, 9 hours, so everything in my fridge practically had to go. This one, luckily, about 2 or 3 hours, somewhere in that range. So left the fridge closed. I think the milk's still good. I think anything else in there that I got, the more importantly, the cannoli dip still good.
Thank God.
But I will say to them, like, this has been like the whole island, it seems like, for the second time in 2 weeks. And I understand the first one, it was like torrential downpour, pretty heavy winds. This one was like a standard 20-mile-an-hour wind day. And the whole place has been down. Like, not only my spot on like the southeastern tip of Oahu, there's some on like the North Shore, and then down near base probably has some power outages. And it's just like, what are we doing? Also, they have an outage map on their website that has now been down for 2 weeks. The map that's supposed to tell you what the outages are is not working
Isn't
on
even
their
working.
website. So
That's
my
fraudulent.
fraud of the week is Hawaii Electric. I don't think they're doing anything out there.
That is what I would consider to be fraudulent. That's tough.
So I'm just happy I got it back on. I know one of my buddies lives up in the Kailua region, still out. And I think he accidentally opened up his fridge, which I can't blame him because I did it for like a 2 second span. When the power was out, I was just like, oh, let's like, what's in the fridge today? Open it. I'm like, oh shit, the power's out. I gotta close it back up.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
So power outages, not fun either. There's just not a lot to do. The phone was charged, luckily, so I was kind of just kicking it on the couch today. But in terms like of when it goes out at night, especially if you want to like cook some food or do anything, I'm completely out of luck because my stove is an electric one. It's not like I have a gas one or anything.
Right.
And yeah, just a real bummer when it's out for like more than 2 or 3 hours. I can't do it.
No, I would agree. There's nothing worse. You never, and I know this sounds like, soft and silly, but you don't realize how much you rely on just being able to
Oh,
like charge your phone or throw on the TV until you can't and you just want to go crazy.
have you seen the Leave Everything Behind or something like that on Netflix? It's
I've heard of it. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen
oh,
it.
you got to watch it because it like hints at that, how reliant
Okay.
we are on technology and everything else. And I thought of that when the power was out. I was just like, imagine if, I mean, look at the war in Ukraine. The Ukrainians have had power outages that last, I imagine, for weeks, and it's just like that's insane to think about.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So I'll put that on your to watch list for Netflix.
Will do. Duly noted.
Other than that, I don't think I got anything else, Drew. What do you got? You got any
No, I
dingleberries
think
hanging
that's
around for the end of the end of the episode?
I don't think so. I think I addressed pretty much everything I want. Excited to be back in 2024. Love the Hawaiian shirt. The orange door is a nice touch as well.
Yeah.
I like that orange door. It's a good color.
Orange
Is that orange or
reddish
is my
tint. I don't know
is my
really what
eye are
color
my
it
eyes
is.
deceiving me?
No, it looks orange from this light right here. I think it's truly red, but who knows?
Is that an automatic or manual recliner?
Oh no, this is the got a little clip on the side that I just kind of pop in, and then it flips. It's got some
You know what I'm gonna
spring
say?
action to it. Let's see if I can.
Thank goodness there ain't a radiator behind that.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Well, the only thing I had left on my list that I didn't get to,
Yep.
it could have been a hate of the week, which would have been washing dishes because I cannot stand it and I don't have a dishwasher in my place.
I'm in the same
But
boat. I hate it.
I think this was my like, it's not even a love of the week. It's just like a, I forgot about that of the week. And it's the faucet modes on the sink faucet. Like when you
Okay.
click the little thing in to get the shower
So when you
mode.
click the button and it like does the jet or the shower and you can like
Yeah.
rinse a plate off or something.
Drew, I have been at this place for over a year now, and I have not once used the shower mode for it. Way better for washing dishes, though, in some
It is
scenarios.
scraping off like sauce
Yeah,
or something that's been
yeah,
stuck
and
to the plate
it's
rather than
not
having to scrub
splashing
it.
all over the place. And
Yep.
I turned it on. I was like, I should do that more often, but it's taken me about 370 days to actually think of that.
To discover it. Well, now you know.
The more you know. Well, we'll end off as always with a quote of the week. I don't know where this one comes from. I just wrote it down
Okay.
as
Anonymous.
a source of inspiration, I guess. It
Okay.
says, give someone the confidence to be their best. Simple. Simple way to start off your week. I think it makes the world a better place all in all. So that'll
Love to
do it
hear
for
it.
TBBLC. We're out here in Hawaii Kai. We're going to be out there in Essex, Mass. Hopefully you guys see this January 17th, Wednesday, 2024. I should be able to release it tomorrow. But other than that, peace out. Pat from last year, play us out.
What's for lunch? TBBLC.
Stay in your seat.
What's for lunch today? Sausage. Brown bag, brown bag.
The Brown Bag Lunch Crew.